4 or no?
Number four is a public hearing.
Right.
Yeah, that's a second reading on that, so that'd be a public hearing and a roll call.
Somebody at 29, I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right one.
Yes.
I know, yeah. I just,
Yeah.
9, I thought, pardon? What do you think about number 5? Only 29?
Things get asked, and things get taken away. You get emails, you know. Nah,
That's pretty well.
the day you resign.
Another one, that quick?
No, I didn't.
No, excuse me.
In the future, let's do that. Just pull that from the. Yeah, got it. Oh, okay. I call this meeting of the Burlington County Board of Children Freeholder to good order. Please rise for the flag salute and please remain standing. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father, help us to be receptive to the thoughts and challenges that come to us through prayer, through the printed page, and from the world around us, and help our leaders to find the best solutions to the problems that we face. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting was provided. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting, this public announcement, and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Arden.
Present.
Freeholder Belvard.
Here.
Freeholder Howard.
Present.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Present.
And Freeholder Director Donald.
Present. Thank you, Mr. Green. This time I'll entertain a motion for the approval of minutes of the regular public meeting of March 13, 2013.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Howard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Belvard. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Public meetings are adopted. Public meeting minutes are adopted. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for the conference meeting minutes of March 13, 2013.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Howard.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Schwartz.
Director Donnelly, I do have a question with regard to that. Item 5 on there, I just wanted the record, the minutes to reflect. I had a question at the time of that meeting. This had to do with the CWA contract ratification, and the resolution that was ultimately passed involves some non-represented employees. I asked a question about whether the non-represented employees were receiving the same 1.75% for the 3 years of the same 3 years as the CWA. I'm not speaking very articulately this evening, I apologize. So it was 1.75 for 2011, 2012, and then 2013. And Mr. Horacle was good enough to respond to yes, that was the case. I just wanted to make sure that that is noted in the minutes, if that's not a problem.
Very good. Any further comment on the March 13 conference minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Conference meeting minutes are adopted. At this time, I'll open the meeting to the public for anything on the agenda. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. I skipped it because I'm bad. Yeah, okay. Well, that's when you start late. Everything gets thrown off for you. Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'll ask Mike Cesaro, Bob Ellis, Cameron Trinidad to please come forward from the American Red Cross. March is American Red Cross Month, and I can sit here and read this proclamation, but I don't think there's a soul in this room that's not aware of all the good works that the Red Cross does, not just in Burlington County, but not just in the state of New Jersey, but nationally and globally for that matter. We witnessed that firsthand after Hurricane Sandy. We saw the Red Cross jump into action right here in Burlington County, and specifically some areas of our county that were affected pretty adversely, the Bass River area. There were folks, when I was down there the next day with Freeholder Director Gargano at the time, we saw Red Cross folks feet on the ground helping people. When we were in the Emergency Operations Center, the Red Cross had representatives there. And I know you're not just about disaster relief, but that was the one stellar moment that the Red Cross had. For that, we salute you. We're very, very grateful for all your good efforts in Burlington County, and specifically for this country. So thank you very much. If anybody wants to say anything, feel free. Time's yours.
We'll make it very quickly because we don't want to hold up the 29 items that you have on the agenda. My day job is a chair of our Governmental Services Department for Bowman and Company, which some of you may know as the county auditor. My nighttime job is serving as the chair of the newly formed Burlington and Camden chapters of the Red Cross. So we are very pleased to be here to accept this proclamation from the Board of Freeholders. It's through these partnerships that we have with government agencies that we are able to come out there and fulfill our mission for the Red Cross to be there in times of need, just as the Freeholder Director had said. We thank you very much for the assistance from Burlington County College, where we did have a shelter in operation, so we appreciate every effort that you've had. It's through these partnerships that we're able to survive. Without our volunteers out there like you, we can't do it, so we thank you, and thank you for having us here this evening.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I also would like to thank all the residents of Burlington County for their support, not only during Hurricane Sandy, but ongoing, as we meet the challenges of disasters pretty much every week in our two counties, and we really appreciate everyone's support. We welcome your efforts. If you'd like to be a volunteer, we need you to donate blood so that we continue to save lives, and we want you to feel that you will be and are a part of our ongoing work in the American Red Cross. I'm very happy to announce that we are going to have a training center on the Atlantic Drive in Mount Laurel on 295, where we will be doing disaster, health and safety training on a regular basis. And we welcome your visit, and we also hope that if there's any way that we can help you, if you have a neighbor in need, if for some reason we don't find out that there was a fire, please call us, because we don't discriminate because of the amount of money you may have or not have. Everyone who needs help, the Red Cross will help. So please get in touch with us. Be our partners in the community, and we'll be here to help you. Thank you.
Bob?
I'm fine. I said it all. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
At this point in time, I'll give our representatives from the Red Cross the opportunity to run out of the room if they're so inclined, before we go on to our 29 agenda items.
Thank you.
At this time, I will open the meeting to the public for comment on any agenda items. If you have some public comment, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Lewis.
Good evening, Freeholder of Burlington County. My name is Louis Lopez. I live at 370 South London, Manhattan. I have several questions. First, number 3, if you can clarify more.
What that does, that affords the county, and this has to be accomplished by March 31st, so it's time sensitive. But what it does, it affords us the opportunity to bring over any revenue that was in the budget for 2012 to surplus the reserve for 2013.
Now, how much that is?
Do you have an amount on it, a final amount?
We're transferring out about $1 million between accounts, and then whatever's not spent will go towards reserve.
My second comment is 5 and 7.
Mr. Troy.
Number 5 basically has to do with our guarantee of debt for the Bridge Commission. It's $13 million in terms of where we were gonna refinance to take advantage of better interest rates. And there are municipalities that are participating in this, along with the county of Burlington. We have Riverside Township, Mansfield Township, St. Vincent, Belgrade Fire District, and Pemberton. So again, just to take advantage of very low interest rates, we are doing a refinancing.
That's including 7, right?
No, 7 sets the date for the public hearing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Next one is 11.
This is an IT issue, allows us to purchase 100 towers for computers throughout the county.
What happened 1 week before that?
They are recycled out of service. Is Mr. Remke here?
Yep. We replace about 25% of our total PCs each year, so we're on track to have that done this year. And when we, as Freeholder Donnelly stated, when we replace the computers, we take them back into stock and we take spare parts and we try to use those if we need to do repairs and those kind of things.
The next one, number 13.
Number 13 is, we received a $572 donation from the Animal Hospital of Pensacola for our county animal response.
You know how?
Pardon?
How you received it?
In response to Superstorm Sandy, we received an additional donation. The Animal Hospital in Pensacola, Florida was impressed with the work done by our park team and wanted to make a donation for them to help them continue their efforts.
And the last agenda, 29.
This will allow us to continue with virtual community nursing for some services for it says special child health care management, and basically gives the hourly rate. What was your question about?
I just want to clarify.
This is an extension of an existing contract or service that we have with them. Do you have anything specifically that you'd like to know?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment on agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mary Ann Reinhardt, 124 Wharton Court, Shawn, New Jersey. Number 4, specifically where it says, and taking certain actions related thereto, what are those actions? And my agenda might be different from yours, because once again, the agenda here is different than what I told us.
Pete, would you mind explaining the boiler point for number 4?
To do the, what is required to actually accomplish the refunding within the bonding process. The refunding is essentially a refi of the bonds that were issued about 2003, 2004, something
Yes,
like that.
it is.
Where interest rates were higher. So the actions prescribed are what is necessary to accomplish that refi for the bill.
Thank you.
That's because of the rate?
Well, direct your questions to me.
Is that because of the rate?
We're refinancing because of the rate.
Okay, and is it the same length of time, or is it just for the rate?
No, it's not the same length of time as the original bond issue. It's, the bond will not be extended as a result of this.
And number 5, same question there. You said because of the lower rate, but there too, being a lease revenue, refunding bonds, is that the same length of time?
Same,
Not
the
extended
term will
term?
not extend, correct.
And number 6, resolution authorizing the award and or rejection of contracts through the Department of Finance Division of Purchasing. How many were rejected?
Mr. Troy?
Yes, Mr. Director. Basically, we had 2 awards and we had 2 rejections.
And what were these?
I'll go through all of them. Basically, the first bid was for masonry repairs to the prison complex, and there was an award given to J.H. Williams. The second was for janitorial supplies, basically toilet tissue, things like that. We break the contract down by different vendors who supply different goods and services. The third one was for the maintenance and repair of generators, which we are going to reject for being over budget. We had very high bids, 3 times we went out, and then some discussion with Mr. Brickley. We found a new way that we may be able to rewrite this to get a better price and actually get a better service. So the decision was made not to accept any of the bids. And number 4 was the single stream project. Bids came over our budget estimates, and we're going to go back out on the street with them.
Director Donnelly, on the generators, are they in operable condition?
Well, they're fixed installed generators in county facilities.
Number 13 on my agenda is the authorization to purchase hardware and software upgrades. And it's the Cova audio lobby recording system. And in here is for the public safety. What is the purpose of the audio lobby?
So the 911 callers are able to record the phone calls, and then when necessary, the software upgrades will make it easier to go back in and pull specific calls.
Okay, so what we currently have,
It's an upgrade to what we currently have. It's a software upgrade.
number 17 on First Amendment to agreement with Young Associates.
And if I may add, it's a single source vendor,
Okay.
number 14.
Sorry, what was your next number?
That, well, on mine it's 13, I don't know.
On, what is the, is it,
It's the First Amendment, Canoni Associates, and that's for the intersection improvement. What kind of improvements are they doing?
Wait, could that be number 20?
It's 17 on this one.
It's 20, Joe?
Yes, sir. The county has received funding both federally and from the DOT to install a roundabout at the intersection. And as part of that funding requirement, they want a cultural resource survey done of the area, and that amendment is to cover that expense.
But that's for the cultural. All right, now that roundabout, what happened at this intersection that it requires a roundabout? Is it traffic, is it accidents?
Mr. Berkeley?
There was a fatality. Most people remember the bus and the dump truck.
Number 19, First Amendment again. This one is Lippincott and Jacobs Consulting Engineers in the amount of $122,150.
Yeah, that's it, right?
County Culver, Parkland Road, Medford Lakes.
It's the Medford Lakes Borough Culvert, Joe.
Yes, it's directly attached to what is number 19 on the latest. The Medford Lakes Colony and the county have gone into a shared service, and this is consulting services associated with the reworking and replacement of that culvert, which effectively is a dam.
So I guess, Director, my question is, because I keep reading these First Amendments, so is that the initial cost, or is this an amendment to the initial project?
This is an amendment.
Oh, so it is
Specifically, as
amendment.
it says, yeah.
And what would cost $122,000 more?
The likely design, Joe, there was a schematic initially designed now.
Yes, now it's been further fleshed out, and the greater portion of that is going to be borne by the Medford Lakes Colony folks.
So, they're gonna bore most of the expense, so is it of the $122,150, or is that what?
They're gonna bear most of the expense of the entirety of it.
Okay. Okay, agreement, now this here again, with the Lippincott Jacobs Consulting Engineers, the amount not to exceed $150,350 to perform asphalt testing and batch plan inspections for the 2012 reconstruction overlay program. Is that for all paving projects?
We're required by statute to perform asphalt testing on any state and/or federally funded highway project, and this will fall within a reimbursable amount to the state of New Jersey.
I have 21, and it's amendment to the agreement with Thanks for Being Green for an extension of time from March 19, 2013 through July 31st, 2013, with no cost to the county.
Jerome?
This is a contract with Tankerine Green to manage computer recycling. They actually pay us for the materials that are brought in. This is just a 3-month extension while we go through the bidding process.
So that's until you go through the bidding process, but what, were we covered then from January, February?
Yes, the contract ended March 18th.
Was that carried over contract?
Well, it will be if it's voted upon affirmatively this evening.
But I meant January, February.
No, the contract would lapse when, Jerome? March 31?
The contract goes through March 19th, our current
March
contract.
19th.
I have 22 Second Amendment again. This is Horizon Health of New Jersey, and not to exceed $363,752.25 to extend the contract for 9 months, and that starts April through December. So here again, my question is January, February.
I'll take it, and then if I have a question, I'll defer to Mark. Basically, there's a number of resolutions. There's 25 basically through 28. And what that's doing is we're putting out to bid various services now that we have with the prison for healthcare that go to various companies, and we want to roll it into one RFP, request for proposals, that hopefully one entity will put in a bid to do all of those pieces.
Here again, Third Amendment, and that's also in Horizon. That was the $1,531,000.
Yeah, that's all, again, 25, 26.
So you're telling me all of these that you want one vendor?
Right. That was what we would prefer.
And the Second Amendment to, which I have is 25, with Professional Dental Associates for proposed total dentist. And here again, that date is April 1st, 13th through December 2013. Okay, so I guess what I'm asking you is, where is this contract from January to February? Did last year's go through February this year?
They had varying dates, didn't they, Freeholder?
Extended through March.
The best way I can explain, Mark, can jump in if I get it wrong.
Sure.
There are multiple contracts with different expiration dates. We are trying to get them all to expire at the same time for this RFP. We hope that we won't have to go out, was it 9 months, that we may be able to get this back sooner. Mark, you had said, what was it, a month or two to get the RFP out, another month to get it back, and hopefully 130 days to make a decision. That's the shortest, but worst comes to worst, we can go longer. But we have contracts that are expiring at different times, and we're trying to get everything all at once.
I could have explained it better.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, so these contracts, are they online that I could view those, the existing contracts?
Are they available, are contracts available online?
The existing?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
You have to go in and register, and you can look at all of those contracts.
Okay, great, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any further public comment on agenda items? Hearing none, I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. At this time, I am going to make a motion to remove Resolution 4 from the consent and have that heard separately. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Donnelly, seconded by Freeholder Howard. Any discussion on removing the item? Hearing none, all in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I am going to, at this time, move resolution number 4 for adoption. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Donnelly, seconded by Freeholder Howard. Any discussion? This is, and quite frankly, the terminology is not up to snuff on this. This is a public hearing, so at this point in time, I will open the meeting to the public on resolution number 4, which reads, Resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, New Jersey, ratifying and confirming the issuance, sale, and award of the county solid waste utility general obligation refunding bond, Burlington County Bridge Commission 2013 Governmental Loan Program, Series 2013A-1, semicolon, oh, I didn't need that semicolon, prescribing to the form of said bond and taking certain actions related thereto. At this point in time, I'll open the meeting to the public for any comment on this. Seeing no comment, I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. Is there any comment from the board?
I I just ask a question? So, given that we're having a public hearing on this, was this noticed for public hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
all right, good. I just wanted to make sure that we're all good, all right.
Hearing no further comment, roll call vote, please.
Freeholder Harder.
Yes.
Freeholder Belgard.
Yes.
Freeholder Howard.
Yes.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Yes.
And Freeholder Director Donald.
Yes, resolution is adopted. At this time, I will move for unanimous consent of resolution items numbered 1 through 3 and 5 through 11.
Second.
Second. Moved by Freeholder Donnelly, seconded by Freeholder Howard. Any comment?
I make a motion to remove.
Remove or do you want to discuss?
I'm sorry, discuss, yeah. Well, remove from the consent agenda in order to discuss, I guess, right? Resolutions 1, 2, 7, and 11.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor, so any further discussion? Moved by Freeholder Bellegarde, seconded by Freeholder Schwartz. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Time's yours, Freeholder Bellegarde.
Thank you, Director. So starting with number 1, I guess, Mr. Troy, I'm directing my questions to you again, so thank you. I'll start with the revenue summary. I just wanted to ask for the month of March on that summary statement, where there are zeros. Am I correct in understanding that there are zeros there because we haven't finished the month, or are we stuck?
We did not receive revenue into those categories.
Okay, so when we get to the end of the month, will we see revenue news in the month of
It could be,
month of March?
as we ran this report, there was no revenues in those categories.
Okay, because there seems to be some big differences between February and March if those numbers stay at 0, which is kind of concerning.
The February was a collection of taxes. We had a
Okay.
$37 million collection, and that's reflected in the February receipts.
Okay, so I may have more questions on this in the next report, but thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay?
Moving on to the bill list. Bear with me while I find my tabs here. Oh, so first let me just mention that with regard to this, the bill list on page 11, there is a bill with regard to the Burlington County Bar Association. I'm gonna have to recuse myself from that because I'm a member of the Burlington County Bar Association. I skipped one. Page 9, the bottom entry there is Burchard Horn, and I apologize if I'm saying that vendor incorrectly. Just over $61,000 for professional services. What were those services for?
Freeholder, that was for professional services on the Riverton Road Design and Engineering. Joseph?
Yes. Can I hear the report?
Was there anything to add, or that was it? I didn't quite hear you, I'm sorry.
The project is a safety improvement to River and Perry and Branch roads in Cinnaminson.
Okay.
It's a triangular intersection that we've had several severe accidents and fatalities on.
Okay, and so that was for the design?
It is in design, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Page number 19, I also need to recuse myself from the command company entry because my firm has represented them. Page 24, the second entry there, software maintenance of $47,441. What exactly is that? I mean, is that just programs that we're using on our computers, or?
Nick, this is you. I'm not quite sure what the software was.
What's the vendor?
It
just
says software maintenance.
Software maintenance and related services. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, if you
I
could get
just
back
don't
to me
know
with
who
the vendor on
vendors-
that.
The system just picked up software maintenance, usually the vendor's in there.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, I was like,
Yeah.
seems kind of a funny name for a vendor, but, okay.
There's a name in it, it's just the description and the title of film is not there.
Okay. Page number 31, Alaska Mechanical, and it's $537,239. Mount Holly Complex renovations, what were those renovations, and what does that amount encompass?
Freeholder, this is a contract we had with Alaska Mechanical for the renovations to the Mount Holly Complex for energy savings. Joseph?
Yes, this is a project where the boilers, the chillers, the cooling towers, the fan coils, the piping in the walls, that's the project that's being done right now.
Okay, great, thank you. And this is the company that's actually performing the work?
That is correct, that is a
Okay.
general contractor.
All right, great, thank you. Page 44, Jasper Group. Furniture and equipment for the library edition. So this is in addition to the furniture and equipment for the library edition that we talked about last time, the last meeting?
Yes, this is furniture and equipment for library edition.
Okay. Are we gonna be seeing more furniture and equipment for the library edition?
I don't know.
If I may add.
Yes.
If you're, the head librarian, Raja Das, she is buying the furniture as she goes because she wants to look at how people are using the new space and she doesn't want to expend a lot of dollars on furniture and fixtures that will not coincide with use.
Okay.
So she was looking at how people were using the facility going forward and trying to tailor the purchases so they will match how the facility is being used by patrons.
Okay, great, thank you. Page number 49, Manpower International, Inc. Oh, I see what this is, okay, never mind. I figured that one out. Page 59, New World Systems Corp. Again, this is software maintenance, $255,000. That's separate from the other software
Yeah, it
maintenance?
is. I got this.
Oh, 911.
This is 911
Okay.
and the local police.
Great. I only have a couple more.
That's okay.
Thank you. Page 68, Pannoni Associates, professional services, $19,918. Do you know what that was for?
I do. This is for professional services. This is intersection improvement work at Ward Chesterfield Road, Old York Road, CR 528 and 660. Take it, John?
Yes, that is the project that was, part of the other is where the fatal accident was.
Oh.
Pannoni is finishing the design and the cultural resources, which is what is on tonight as part of that project.
Great, thank you. And then the last one I have from the bill list is page 82, Taylor Weisman and Taylor Professional Services, $16,800. Can you tell me what that is?
I can. That's also design and permitting CR 563 Greenback Chatsworth Road in Washington Township. Take it, John?
That's a stretch of road that Taylor Weisman Taylor is doing improvements on. It's safety improvements to super elevate the road. We've had a fatality out there.
Great, that is all I have for number one.
I have some questions.
Nope, of course.
Yes, really brief. On page 10, this is under expenditures. On page 10, deer removal. Are we removing deer now? I had thought that had been suspended, or is that just suspended in cities and not on county roads?
We don't do deer removal. We actually have a great shared service
Is it
agreement with our
for
constituents.
everybody, or is it on all roads or just county roads?
We bid it, and what we do is we give access to our constituent jurisdictions.
Okay.
So if they, if they have a deer, they need to be removed. They
But
can
if
call
they-
this vendor and pay for that.
But if they sometimes choose not to get into the deal, then they're on their own and realize it. Because I know at least one
It's their own
town
deer.
was on their own, okay.
Freeholder,
And
we
then-
spend a lot of bucks, and I mean a lot of dollars.
No
Just
pun
thought I'd
intended.
throw that in. Okay. Come on.
I don't follow that. On page 11.
Either bucks or dough, man, we spend a lot.
On page 11, very bottom, 156,000 plus. What is that for? It says nursing director.
We're on the expenditure list?
Yeah, we're on expenditures. Very bottom, of page 11. I couldn't figure out what department or where those people are.
We're not sure. I'll get back to you.
Yeah,
Freeholder.
okay. That's it.
Thank you. Any further comments on resolution number 1? Hearing none, all in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye,
Opposed?
except for the portions that I have
The abstentions mentioned earlier for Freeholder Bellegarde. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 1 is adopted. Moving on to number 2.
Oh, so this is with regard to the temporary budget. I just wanted to confirm, Mr. Troy, that this temporary budget will take us from March to the end of June, if need be, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's 25% of last year's budget, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any further? 1, 2, 3. No, we didn't move it. Need a motion to adopt resolution number 3.
Second.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Howard, second by Freeholder Bellegarde. We're a hot mess tonight. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Moving on to number 7.
Right, so for number 7, the only question I have is, so the resolution to set the hearing?
Sets the date.
Yeah, what
Correct.
is the date? I didn't see the resolution online, so I don't know what the date is. I just want to make sure
So the
we have
next
that.
meeting will be the
April 10th.
Okay. That's all I had on that one. Very easy.
I move to adopt resolution number 7. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Howard. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution is adopted. Number 11.
And number 11, Mr. Femke, thank you for, I heard some of your answers before, so you answered a lot of my questions. I just wanted to ask though, do we only buy as opposed to lease PCs, and maybe people don't actually lease them anymore?
We've done a financial analysis on leasing versus buying. It actually is cheaper for us to buy. Unfortunately, we don't replace the computers as often as we'd like to, so we actually get more life than the 5-year replacement cycle we're on. So we end up keeping them longer, so it'd be more expensive for us to lease.
And then, when you say that we replace about 25% a year, about how many computers do we have overall? If you know.
Well,
After
it's a
the-
constant changing number,
Yeah.
but roughly, we have about 1,500 computers.
Okay.
Anything further on resolution number 11? I move for adoption. Is there a second? Second. Moved by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Howard. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution is adopted. There is a standing motion on the floor for resolutions number 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolutions are adopted. Freeholder Howard.
At this time, move to adopt resolutions number 12 through 18.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Harder, seconded by Freeholder Howard. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolutions are adopted. Freeholder Howard.
Thank you, Director. At this time, I'd like to move through unanimous consent, resolutions number 19 through 24.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Is there a second?
Second?
Second. Moved by Freeholder Howard, seconded by Freeholder Bellegarde. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolutions are adopted. Freeholder Schwartz.
This time I'd like to move for anonymous consent. I didn't say anonymous, I said unanimous.
I heard unanimous.
To move
Roll
to
tape.
adopt resolutions number 25 to 29.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Schwartz, seconded by Freeholder Howard. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolutions are adopted. This time, I'll entertain questions from. Moving on. At this time, we'll open the meeting to the public. Anyone wishing to public comment publicly, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Yes, sir.
Please, I'm glad that the lady go first.
I have several questions regarding the library. And most recently, there was an article in the paper. And I'm really concerned about the main library and also the branch libraries. So hopefully someone can give me answers to these questions. main library in West Hampton, does this facility currently have a CO for all the new renovations?
Yes.
And as they did this work, who oversaw the work to make sure that there weren't any problems with the work and/or that there was some of the work needed to be adjusted?
I believe the structure of oversight changed over the course of that construction, and it predates my presence on the board, so that might be something Freeholder Don.
Mr. President, in one word answer, I can't remember the name of the firm.
Mast.
Okay, I'm sure you've all been into the library. I was there, and I don't know if any of you observed the handicap ramp that's in the library. Did anyone walk that
Which
ramp?
one? Which ramp?
In the large room you have there?
The auditorium?
Yeah.
The
It
ramp
doesn't
coming in
place.
from the back up to the stage, is that the ramp you're referring
The
to?
one that when you come in the front door
Mhm.
and you go either side, it's a ramp. Okay?
Yes, there's
Okay.
another ramp in the back.
Yeah, but did you walk that ramp? Did anyone walk that
Yes.
ramp? And you don't find that ramp to be too steep of an elevation?
ADA compliant.
Okay, ADA compliant, meaning what is the pitch on that? No, I know what it is, I'm asking, what is the pitch on the ramp?
I don't think we have the pitch with us tonight, that we would not have gotten a certificate of occupancy if in fact we weren't compliant with the local code, or the state code for that matter.
Because at the event that I attended, several people that were in wheelchairs complained about it. And the fact that I walk the ramp is quite steep, and it's a short ramp, that's steep. The glass, there's a panel, we have the two front doors, there's a glass panel in between those doors. It appears to be a door. And there's no kind of an emblem, no kind of a marking indicating that isn't a door, and two people walk into that glass panel. So it should be clearly marked with some kind of a reflector or a sticker that people aren't running into, but we're going to get lots of claims on that, particularly the children. And also, I'm aware of all the overruns, and, you know, there was an overrun on time a year for the project, and it was an overrun of $1.2 million. Is the county filing a lawsuit to recoup these monies?
We are in the process of,
We're not commenting, right?
we're not commenting on it, but we have been in the process of investigating.
Because I know in one of the articles it said 75% of the problems was with the professionals and 25% was with, didn't say. Now, I need an understanding of who is paying for this project. Is that coming out of the library's budget?
But we bonded that project
Okay, you bonded that project.
while you were Freeholder.
Yes, I understand that. And
Oh, okay.
did you use any TARP money for that project?
Sharp money?
TARP,
No, we did not.
no federal. I was told that the official opening is May 1st. And the reason for the delay of the opening is because there's a number of details that need to be worked out with the county solicitor. And my question is what needs to be worked out?
That's contrary to the date I was given just yesterday.
So what are you telling me?
It's before that date. And I'm not aware, I don't know who told you or where you're getting your information, so I really can't comment on what the county solicitor may or may not be working out with this individual that you've spoken to.
Could you direct it to the solicitor?
No,
No?
not that. What's hearsay?
Other things I read in the newspaper, and I noticed that the county has settled a couple contracts. And I don't know who the freeholder liaison is to the sheriff's department, or if there is one. But I hope you realize, and I'm gonna state right up front, my son is a sheriff's officer. So I'm as concerned with his contract as I have been with the other contracts. And I believe that this department has been without a contract. Coming up in May, it'll be 1,600 days. It's a long time. Figure it out in years.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And-
And that, if I may, I'll finish. The frustration that we, as a board and administration, have with this is unbelievable. I'm sure, if, as you say, you have a son that's a sheriff's officer, he has told you that we're in interest arbitration at this point in time.
No, he
And that-
hasn't.
Okay, well, we're in interest arbitration. We've been waiting for a ruling since August of 2012. We've been working collaboratively with the sheriff's officers union, union attorney to try and get an opinion out of the arbitrator. We had money budgeted in 2012 to pay the settlement, what we anticipated the arbitrator's settlement would be. Well, we don't have that now. We would still have the money, of course, and we will in fact pay the settlement, but we were waiting for it in 2012 also.
And this ruling, when was that submitted? When were you expecting to hear from that ruling?
Well, under the law today, it would be 45 days. Where's Daniel?
I think it was
Okay.
November.
November?
Yeah, it was either supposed to come back in November or was submitted in November.
No, we submitted in August.
Oh, so
That
I
we
think it's
know.
supposed to come back in
Yeah,
November.
we submitted in August.
I remember hearing November, something along the way.
Under the law today, if we were to go to arbitration, then it's a 45-day timeline. But we don't have that luxury under the old rules.
So I guess my question is back to, who does all the communication with the point person in the sheriff's department about contracts?
Labor Council,
And who is?
Carmen Sachinaro.
Is that Cape Verde County?
It is.
Okay. And are you aware of that letter that was sent by Cape Verde County about the sheriff's officers and why they believe that their job doesn't deserve monies that regular policemen get because they're not really in jeopardy the way regular police people are?
I haven't seen that. I've never seen that. No, because I remember taking a stand on that, actually, like you sat on this board, when another freeholder made a comment to that effect. I feel very strongly that our sheriff's officers go through the Police Training Commission certified program. They are law enforcement officers. They have one. They do warrant service, which puts them in the public eye. They also go out on occasion and help in speed traps. They go out and do warrants, fugitive checks. They are fully trained law enforcement officers.
Okay, so what seems to be the stumbling block with this contract? Is it money? Is it
Again,
not benefits?
no, wait a minute. So we're clear. The stumbling block is the arbitrator. Until he issues the award, nothing happens. We want the award.
So
There's
I-
no stumbling block.
So I guess you can't relinquish anything about the contract.
Really? I can't say anything about the contract because I don't have a contract. Arbitration, and interest arbitration for law enforcement in New Jersey is very clear. It's a judicial body that both sides go, file briefs, make their arguments to this judicial body of one, and that individual responds back with their interpretation, how to best interpret, and develop a contract. We're waiting for Mr. Mastriani to respond to the contract, as is the association.
I'll try to be quick. I know Paul wants to say something. The new county entrance, and basically, the way they've labeled this project is safety enhancement.
Who's they? I'm sorry.
Well, that's the way the contract reads.
We don't have a
To
contract.
get the work done for the new county entrance?
No, we don't have a contract for that.
All right, how about the design, the architectural firm? How do they have it labeled?
Probably a security enhancements.
Well, security, safety enhancements, all right. Design, the architectural firm. I was really concerned when I read about how this company was awarded this design. And I can't understand why the freeholders didn't put this project out for a competitive bid. Also, $740,000 is quite a handsome sum of monies. And then to learn that the construction cost is going to be nearly $5 million is more troubling. And I think because of the way that you bundled other renovations that you want to do, you bundled them under this design. And that has to do with the bathrooms, putting a raised platform, doing something with the marble walls, all cosmetic cosmetic stuff, and then heating and air conditioning upgrades, gutting and renovation of the courtyard. Also, when you interviewed these different firms, how many projects has Lamoury and Giorgio designed that are security and safety projects?
I don't have that.
You don't know? Okay. My other concern about that is what kind of a committee was developed, and how many members of this committee were sheriff's officers, those people that are involved in safety and security day in, day out, and because they're experienced and know what needs to be addressed. So, do you know if that committee was formed and what members were on the committee?
I don't have all the members' names. There was a committee for the Boston Judiciary, the sheriff, the county.
Gene was on the committee, too.
I know the sheriff was on it, the county administration and others.
So these questions that I'm asking, and I don't have answers tonight, is there some way that?
Yeah, if you put them in writing to us,
Okay.
we'll get you answers.
All right, and I'm back at you again. The county trust fund. I'm once again asking the freeholders to amend this trust fund to include historic preservation for local projects and communities. When I first proposed this in 2009, I requested that open space, farmland preservation, and historic preservation be included. And I couldn't get it on the agenda, and when I came to public meetings after I was no longer a freeholder, I was told, no, we're not going to do it. Once again, I'm asking you to reconsider it. You know money's tight for everyone. And people are always talking about, share the pain, but I truly believe we should share the gain for the monies that are in this trust fund. So, Director Donnelly, I'm directing this to you once again. And the societies will be getting a petition to you and requesting the same. The 700 megahertz system, where are we with that?
Mr. Dreeben?
We currently have a consultant on board who's doing a study of the current system and the sites that we have in place, and we're waiting a report back from him now to see what the status of that is, so we can decide where we're going to go from there.
So, Director, what was the cost for that consultant?
What's the RFP value, Rich?
It's not to exceed $99,000. That includes 3 phases, which is studying the current system, the current design of the current system, and what we need to do to move forward. And that's where it's funded at this point. We'll come back to a report to the Freeholder board so that we can decide where we're going to go from there.
So we talked about this actually 4 years ago, for 3 years. So we're any further ahead with where we're going with it?
I think we're actually remarkably further along because we've actually secured the frequencies with the federal government right now.
We have secured the 700 frequencies from the federal government. The regions that surround us have given us the approvals, and now we're forwarding that information to the FCC for their stamp of approval. And once that's in place, then we start to move forward.
Facebook, this intrigues me. The county now has Facebook, but I have a couple questions about it. And when I was on board, Director, I had requested that the county have Facebook, and at that point in time, you referred it over to Pete Nelson.
I think I referred to Mr. Mosca at the time.
Well, the 3 of you, it was you, Pete. and-
Manny, Mo, and Jack.
Yeah. And at that point in time, I was told that it was reported to me by Mr. Nelson that he legally advised the county that they were not to have a Facebook. Now, my question is, what was the difference between 4 years ago and today? And also, does the county have a policy on Facebook use? And if so, has it been distributed to a person explained to all the employees?
I'll get back to you.
Would you know why we could do it now and we do it 4 years ago?
I think we revised not to do it 4 years ago
Mhm.
by council, but then there was a policy decision made in fact that we did.
Thank you. Another area, county meetings on the road, and it's states that the meetings have to be conducted at the county seat, not holiday, and that they could not be amended.
Well, no, Mr. Nelson had never said that because the rules of the board clearly state that they can be amended.
Well, I'm
Actually, I
telling
remember
you.
one time you attempted to amend the
Mhm.
rules of the board, so you are well aware that one can change the rules of the board
Well,
to amend it.
If I had access to all my emails, which the county declined, I could just give you those emails. And transparency. There's a lot of talk about transparency, and that's with every level of government anymore. And particularly, different candidates ran on transparency. So, I believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you will, the workshop conference meetings agenda, they're not posted. And I also believe that they should be posted, and then those items that are going to be in closed session should be indicated. It's the same thing with the workshop conference meetings, minutes not posted. That's critical stuff, that's where you really discuss all the meat, potatoes, everything. Personnel committee, meeting agenda and minutes, not posted. Comments on the agenda, the minutes fail to report or reflect the comments made by the public. It'll state their name, but it doesn't state what was commented back to them. And the other thing I think would be helpful too is to post online the number of lawsuits that the county has against them or against someone else. Hunterdon County does it, they do an excellent job with it. And I think that would be good reading for the public. And lastly, my concern in the county is, and it just so happens that the Red Cross is here this evening, volunteerism in Burlington County, a lot of the facilities have moved. We've had the Red Cross moving out. We have food bank, it's now Pencil. What plans or actions is this board going to take to keep these kinds of organizations in our county?
Well, I think one would have to look at it more from an economical approach too, because there are a number of organizations that have in fact made decisions to consolidate operations. I don't think that applies directly. I don't think there's a direct correlation to the level of service based on the fact that they made consolidated operations in Camden County. I think it would be short-sighted for anyone to draw the conclusion that just because the American Red Cross in many ways in Camden County, they're now ill-equipped to serve the needs of the residents of Burlington County.
Well, I didn't say that.
And I think the Red Cross just
Red Cross said
acquired
we're-
new property in Lumberton
They
as
just
well.
said that this evening.
Well, yeah, not one of them is.
Right, just this evening.
Yeah, services on the but I think they're
Right.
acquiring a property to run business out of Lumberton.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just have a question before I start answering your questions. Freeholder Reinhardt referred to a letter. Is that a reality? Did that law firm actually send a letter like that out? in
I've
reference-
never seen the like.
Have you ever seen that letter? How come Freeholder
Would you
Reinhardt?
please identify yourself?
I already did.
I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll speak loud. Paul Bracy, 12 Regency Drive, Mount Holly. That's a real letter. You are Freeholder Director, sir, and you have not seen this letter?
I have no
No.
idea what it's about.
Does not this firm provide a service to the county? A simple yes or no. This firm that is providing a service to Burlington County has the audacity to chide members of the sheriff's department in a formal letter that was in black and white and sent out to other people, and you as Freeholder Director, one, doesn't know about it, and two, hasn't taken any action, and three, you are still doing business with this law firm, sir? A simple yes or no. A simple yes or no,
Public
sir.
comment. It's public comment.
Oh, you, sir, then with all due respect, I feel, as a public servant, you are duty bound to answer this question during board comment, or you need to cite why. That is shameful. Oh, I'm sorry for my emotion, and that is shameful. I need to explain the history. At some point in time, you and this entire body will understand perception is not reality with me. The Burlington County freeholders were my mother, my aunt, saving grace. The way it used to work, sir, and for the longest time, and since 1964, I'm 64 years old. Since 1964, there's only been 3 Democratic majority boards. And for the longest time, up until, strangely enough, Freeholder Reinhardt's election, with at that time a Democrat, I believe his name was Chris Brown, many times it was a 5-0 board, and they talked in a cordial manner. They addressed issues that impacted county residents. They weren't concerned about party affiliations. I know that for a fact. I happen to have close personal relationships with many of the ex-freeholders, sir. Furthermore, my mother, after she finished her degree from the University of Pennsylvania, prior to that, she had a degree in the prestigious Philadelphia General Hospital. She was given the opportunity to create programs that gave national models at Buttonwood Hospital, which at one time was a psychiatric hospital, sir. My father was very close personal friends with Ralph Meadow and was involved in the impetus of the Burlington County Health Department. I was involved in the creation of Burlington County Special Services. So there's history there. The problem is you seem to have a problem with who I am instead of what I say and the issues that matter most. And if you're to willy-nilly a statement from a former freeholder where you have legal representatives that serve your county that are going to trash county employees, and it's like, yo man, what's up with that? Shame on you. I hope you comment on this during freeholder comments, sir. And I do have other comments. Thank you. What is the status of the negotiations between the Burlington County Institute of Technology, OSSI, boards of education, and the current staff?
I think that question would best be directed to the Board of Ed over there as they negotiate the collective bargaining.
Excuse me, sir, were they not here at the last meeting?
You're not going to cut me off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for being rude. I'll continue not to be.
Those negotiations are conducted by the Board of Education of BCIT. You're best served by taking that question to them.
That's a real nice answer, Freeholder Director. In last meeting, there was a body of teachers that were telling you what I have told you for the last 3 years. It's not working. Here's what I'm having a problem understanding. You know, what do I know? I argued to this board over 3 years ago.
Up on the podium.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Is that like an issue of space?
Yes.
Oh, I apologize. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a
No,
little
no,
space.
Paul,
for
come
you.
on.
Thanks, sir. Is this good for you?
That's okay.
I'm glad it's good for you. For the last 3 years, I've come to this board addressing the importance of having representatives, particularly Burlington County Special Services School District Board of Education, that understands the population. I guess being teacher here wasn't good enough for you, sir. But you know what? Your superintendent, Donald P. Lucas, had that revoked because I had the audacity to challenge an administrative position. Yet, he is a superintendent that sits on 2 boards, but there's another problem I have. And hopefully you'll help me come to understand this. Does your board solicitor confer with Mr. Nelson concerning litigation issues that the Burlington County Special Services, OSSI, and/or Burlington County Special Services School District employees may or may not have had legal issues dealing with administrative staff? Is that information you let me share with you?
No.
Why not?
Because BCIT board operates separately from.
That is not true, sir. They now, it's a combined
It's a
board.
backbone.
It's now a combined board. Are you telling me? Freeholder Ronhard had a question in this regard. Hunterdon County's freeholders post in black and white every litigation that is pending.
That they are involved in.
Correct. Are you not aware of the fact that your Board of Education is involved in the litigation right now? With an employee from the Burlington County Institute of Technology? Are you aware of that, sir?
That's very, no, I'm not, but that's very plausible that that happens.
Oh, but you're not aware that there's a correlation between an administrator that rules by iron hand, instills fear, and two other administrators that left the district previously. You don't see a correlation there.
No, I don't.
I think you need to look into it.
Thank you.
I think you need to more than look into it, sir, because I already have. I've had communication with the State Department of Education through Freeholder Reinhardt. I am respectfully requesting, as a public servant, someone is committed to education of the most difficult population, there are serious problems that are occurring right now on your administrative level. At Burlington County Special Services School District, at OSSI, and Burlington County Institute of Technology. I hope you look into it. But, you know what I really hope? That I'm appointed to the next Board of Education. Let me think. Who would be a better person to understand what is happening? Has a strong commitment to Burlington County. There's a bloodline there. Created the best district of its kind, helped create the best district of its kind in the nation. He can't deny that. No one in this room can. Was teacher of the year in the same district. Excelled with the most difficult populations in other districts. Was one of the top 10 social workers in the state of New Jersey. But I can't get appointed to the Burlington County Special Services OSSI Board of Education. Maybe it's my long hair, freaky look. But you know what? Perception is not always reality. I have a few more questions. I do hope you follow up on this, because you have loyal county sheriff officers that have served your county with honor and distinction, and you don't know that an attorney that you're paying, the county taxpayers are paying, is trash-mouthing them? I have sons that have degrees in criminal justice, sir. One works on the state parole board. How dare you not know what is happening? But beyond that, how could you allow a legal firm to continue to do business with the county? You do represent the residents of Burlington County, don't you? Or do you represent the Republican Party?
No.
I have a few more questions.
Let's come to an end, Paul.
I have a few more questions. Is there an opposed time limit here?
There
Or is it
actually-
just because it's me?
Paul, there has been a 5-minute timeline for years, and I give you, and I'm very.
I've asked relevant questions,
No,
sir.
actually, you haven't.
I haven't?
You really haven't.
Oh, I can't wait to hear your board comment then, because then you can address the questions that I've asked that are not relevant. Please don't play me as a fool. How much money has been spent on the negotiations from past to present day concerning, 1, the Burlington County Sheriff's Department, and 2, the Burlington County Assistant Prosecutors Union? In terms of dollars and cents, you could give me a rough number.
I don't have it. We can get it for you.
How long has the process been ongoing? Is it about, for the County Prosecutors Union, is it a little over a year? Probably even longer than that. Is it closer to 3 years?
I think it's closer to 2, but.
And the Sheriff's Department is almost a year and a half now, right?
No.
No?
This is precisely the point that Mrs. Reinhardt.
Oh,
raised
that's
earlier.
most encouraging. Yet you still don't have a ballpark estimation of costs. And you're saving taxpayers money. I would like every one of you tonight to publicly state your position on binding arbitration. I negotiated the first contract between Burlington County Board of Chosen Freeholders in the Burlington County Special Services School District. And we had a great time. We talked about ideas and vision. It seems like that's not the case anymore. And it also seems like our attorneys tend to continue to reap some bucks through billable hours. So what I'm interested in is 5 members of this board, 3 Republican, 2 Democrat. Simple question. Are you in support of binding arbitration? Because I know, because I negotiated contracts. You play highball, you play shuck and jive, and sometimes you find the middle in between. And in between, what happens is attorneys are raking into green. Even if you have attorneys that are in-house attorneys and have fixed costs, they could be using their brilliant legal minds because you have an outstanding legal staff doing other things for the county, sir. Binding arbitration would have addressed this issue a long time ago. And I have one final thought. Thank you for being so tolerant and patient. This troubles me deeply. I don't talk about it, I do it. And I don't ask for anything in return. You might have seen an article recently about a benefit in reference to a Pine Hill Inn fire where the inhabitants were burned, their possessions were burned to the ground. We Care Homeless and Brace for Change once again extended, not a lot, didn't nearly make as much as I wanted, but we extended a helping hand to them and some bucks in their pockets so they could get through the day. But you know what would have worked? A Center of Hope, a 24/7 Center of Hope homeless shelter for those that have nowhere to go. But you want to still play your Punch and Judy game. I assure you this, there will be a safe haven 24/7 Center of Hope for Burlington County's homeless. Trust me.
Thank you. Any further public comment?
My name is Bruce Open from Law Gardens. I want to know if Director Howard is ordered. You can see the picture I took from that St. Patrick's Day from on the bottom of the package.
Absolutely.
Yes, I hope you like the
Appreciate
right
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a question for.
You know, Louis, thanks for going too, you know why? It's nice to have you.
Yeah, I do record the videos, I like the speech.
Right.
And a question for Amy. What's the status of no-kill shelter at the animal shelter?
I'm actually going to refer that to Freeholder Schwartz, that comes under her purview.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna discuss that under comments, do you want me to?
It's your right
talk
to
about it
talk
now?
about it in the comments if you so inclined.
Right, that's what I talked about it under comments, is that all right?
Yeah, I would like to see no-kill, permanent. Second question is, any changes, upgrades for the open space program or grants that went from 2% to 4%, or that 2 or 4?
Could you say that one again?
Are there any changes on the open space program, open space or grants?
No, we haven't come out with the municipal grants yet. For 2013,
Mm-hmm.
that's a ways off. Well, what, 6 weeks, 8 weeks off.
Nothing for the West Hampton, right?
We haven't even taken applications yet this year.
Oh no, it's just because I went to the West Hampton Township and one person asked that, they say, go to the Freeholder and ask that question.
Yeah, I'm not following. If it's about we haven't done the grant application.
Oh, okay. Question on the other town road, the road right across the street in Boot 38 goes to Lumberton, that's a county road, right?
Harestown Road is a county highway.
Yeah, there was an accident a few weeks ago of a school bus hit a Camaro, black and white.
Okay.
Any accidents that happened that road, it was directed to the Freeholder or directed to Burlington Township?
For what, the response or the?
The accident.
We have no, all county highways have local jurisdiction. The local police and fire and EMS would actually take care of any accident on municipal, within municipal jurisdiction. We don't respond to accidents.
Because the person who got struck, who I worked with for 3 years, her name, there's a man that named Lucas, who passed away, got struck by a new school bus. He was 19 years old, missed by people of Southampton and other people who he worked with, the tattoo in Philadelphia, Burger King franchise, Long Island. Second question is, I would like, the Freeholder give me a chance to be at the Social Service Committee. I'd like to be, and if there's an open seat, like I said before, you put that agenda away. I would like to be, that person. If anybody, I would like to thank ex-Freeholder to come today, and thank Paul Chris for coming today. And like I said, I recorded the videos, I've learned, I hope that, good things come. I think that's all my questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further public comment? Yes, sir.
How are you this evening?
Like that.
Jim Can, 23 Georgetown Road, Bordentown. I should also identify myself as the mayor of Bordentown Township. Excuse me, I have a little bit of asthma, so my voice tends to go in and out. My concern is, that I'd like to bring to your attention, is the continued use of TMFOS for mosquito control. Our town is in the mosquito control program that the county has, but I have a lot of concern with the effectiveness of this chemical, as well as, and maybe even more importantly, the cost effectiveness of using this chemical. The chemical's been used in the county, according to Aaron Meany, since the 1970s. Also in the material that is provided to us routinely by the county, it's very clearly states that these chemicals, the mosquitoes actually develop a resistance to these chemicals. So I would have to think that a chemical that has been used since the 70s, its effectiveness has got to be tremendously diminished. Actually, if you go online, you can look up studies. The most recent studies, by the way, are done in Asia, India in particular, where it shows that the continued use of TMFOS, the effectiveness drops off dramatically. But also, I'm not sure that it's also not cost effective, because again, 99% of the residents' complaints by the mosquito commission, or by the county's mosquito commission, board, I'm not sure which it is, are about the Asian tiger mosquito, which TMFOS does not impact at all, since it is sprayed in large bodies of water where the Asian tiger mosquito doesn't grow. It actually populates in very small pools of water, in gutters, bird baths, plants that have been overwatered, that type of thing. So the TMFOS is not effectively attacking the mosquito that is causing the problem in the county. So why would we continue to use a pesticide in our waterways that I think, and there is certainly some research out there to say that, although I must say the EPA does not say that. Of course, they base their studies on the 60s and early 70s. They don't use any of the current studies. That has a negative impact on some of our wildlife, and including some of the natural predators of mosquito larvae. So we're killing off the American mosquito by dumping it into these pond areas, which is where we're putting it. But we're not killing the Asian tiger mosquito, which is the source of 99% of the complaints that the county receives. So I have to wonder whether we're getting, to put it bluntly, are we getting the bang for our buck? And are we effectively controlling mosquitoes, especially since I believe it was the Asian tiger mosquito that brought West Nile to the country? Are we really doing our residents a service by continuing to spray this pesticide? I think mosquito control is a very important thing, don't get me wrong. The fact that you folks use BTI, I'm very pleased with that. That's a bacillus, it's a bacteria. It's actually a fairly effective mosquito killer. Maybe increased use of that would be better. The other thing is, because the Asian tiger mosquito is so hard to treat by aerial spraying and otherwise because of where it breeds, we might be more cost effective spending some of our money in consumer education, resident education. That might be a much better way of doing it. But I really have concerns based on cost and effectiveness of the continued use of the pesticide. I really think the county and this board really needs to take a strong look at that and hopefully discontinue it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Any further public comment?
I'd like to comment on that. Mayor, I don't know if you want to stay there or back up. I'm the liaison to the Department of Health, and Eve is here, and it's the Department of Health that does the spraying.
Yes.
And I don't know if I should do this as a discussion or as a motion, but we have, spray season is coming up any minute, right, in April?
Exactly.
Is there a possibility that we can get a 2-week delay so we can look into see if there's other sprays that we could use?
We do not have any scheduled spraying at this point in time, but I could like speak to him afterward.
Sure.
Should that be a motion or is just a statement?
That's administrative act, so I would not want to be the one to take a motion to
Okay,
delay
so-
spraying. Spraying is not due to start for several weeks at this point in time.
Right, it's into April, but I'll let him speak to the mayor after the meeting.
Well,
Okay.
just one other thing I wanted to bring up, and I didn't, so I thank you for bringing me back up. I also am concerned, my other concern is that we build a false sense of security into folks. That we make them feel, we're treating the mosquitoes, we're getting the mosquitoes. So they send their kid out in the t-shirts and the shorts when they really ought to be doing other preventative measures. And so again, where we're spending money on a chemical, we may be better off spend on education. Thank you.
Okay, so just to wrap up, Eve's going to look into this, see if there's other sprays, and you're going to communicate with the mayor?
Well, I will speak to him after the meeting and make an appointment with him, but we have our contracts and our chemicals in place already, but I'd be glad to speak to him because there are certain things that we do have a process in place for phasing out.
Okay, if you could look into the contract and see if there's a possibility to switch other chemicals, if there are other chemicals that are effective, I don't know sitting here, but I hear the mayor's concerns. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Fred Bryant from Springfield Township. It's strange that the mayor brought this up. While I was in Florida, it came up on the agenda in Springfield Township about county spraying. And my concern is about the type of spray and whatnot they're using. But unfortunately, I had the yard full of children in my yard when the helicopter came over spraying and all the food was out there, and I ended up throwing everything away. And I think we need a little more communication with the people, when, where, and the exact time that you're going to be spraying. I brought this up in the...
Sir, I'll like to answer for him if you want. I've done the research.
I brought this up in Springfield. I actually emailed the letter to the clerk, and they brought it up at the meetings, and they were supposed to get in touch with somebody from the county, and I haven't heard anything.
Obviously, this was last year, and
No, this was just, I'll give you a date, around February.
we haven't done any aerial spraying in a helicopter in February.
No, this happened in the past, but since this has happened, I'm concerned it's gonna happen again. And we have children in the neighborhood and don't need this to happen. I think the public should be more aware of when exactly is what happened.
We do have a process in place with municipalities if they're the ones that are actually doing the notification. I'll be glad to speak to you.
Well, reason why, I'm on Smithville Road, and you do spray over top, behind Charlie's Little Brothers and the old Gregory store, and I believe that the county property now gets sprayed, and that's directly behind my house. My property line is on the, and it brings a lot of concern to me. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Any further public comment? No, I mean, we've already had public comment
Okay, well, then I'll get it to you.
in the mail.
It's critical.
Seeing none, I'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. At this time, we'll go to Freeholder comments. Freeholder Schwartz.
Yes, in response to Lewis's asking about the no-kill shelter, I had a meeting this week which was really well attended. Diane Camilli is not here, but she also came, and it was with Eve and her staff. Eve, if I miss anything, jump in. And it was with also two of the volunteer organizations. Basically, it's called the Friends of the Burlington County Animal Shelter, as well as the Burlington County Animal Alliance. We have formed a task force. We will be working to make this as close to zero for no-kill as possible. We recognize that one entity can't do it by themselves. We also recognize that the county does not have taxpayers' money to spend on this. However, we were very fortunate to have a great group of volunteers, and we will be working together to bring the number down to zero. In fact, we hope to have a report to this board within 2 months. That's our goal. Right, Eve?
Yes.
Did I leave out anything?
No, you did great.
Okay. And there's cats and dogs, if anybody is interested, we always have animals that are ready for adoption. And the shelter, you're probably tired of hearing this, but on Saturday, April 27th, the Friends is having special raining cats and dogs, and there will be a reduced fee for adoptions on that day, and I encourage everyone to come out and bring home a furry friend. We also had a pot-bellied pig recently too, if anybody wants.
Yes, we did.
Oh, jeez. She actually called George Clooney, he has a pet pig.
Good.
That's it?
Thank you. Freeholder Milburn.
Thank you. So I'd just like to echo the sentiments of Director Donnelly earlier this evening with regard to the Red Cross. They really are such an important organization here in our community and really around the world. So I think, our passing of our proclamation this evening was just one way to recognize the great work that they do. But for those that can give blood, I highly encourage it, and can volunteer time for the Red Cross, I highly encourage that as well, because it's such an important organization here in our community. I'd also like to just mention briefly the work that I'm excited about that's going on with regard to the Rancocas Nature Center. I think we'll be talking more about that at the next meeting, but I will just say that I think that there have been a lot of folks involved in working on saving the Rancocas Nature Center. I think it's looking good, and hopefully the efforts of the Friends group and others that, the county as well as the local municipality, West Hampton, continue to work together to push that effort forward to really save a gem that we have here in Burlington County. I wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow night, in honor of, as part of the Women's History Month celebration, is the Burlington County Women's Award Dinner at the Marion and in Cinnaminson. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll have a lot of folks come out and be a part of that. We're recognizing a lot of great women at that. And then finally, last but not least, anyone who's celebrating Passover or Easter or any other holiday, enjoy the holidays. That's all I have.
Thank you. Freeholder Howard.
Just to echo off of what Freeholder said about partnering up with, or at any time we can, to help maintain those open spaces and a great facility like the one she's speaking about. I really appreciate the fact that she and Dr. Donnelly took the time to go and to meet with everyone and move this along down the road. So I'm looking forward to discussing that in the future as well. Had the opportunity this past weekend to attend the district robotics competition at Senate High School, and Director Donnelly was with me, and also was Senator Diego. It was remarkable what we saw. Those kids really did a great job. And this year, the event was all about throwing frisbees. And if they had 6 months, they could have probably had this thing walking, talking, but they only get 6 weeks. And in order to get 6 weeks, they come up with a plan, build it, and then have it work. Just want to let you know that Cherokee / Lenape high schools in Evesham and Mount Laurel took the first place and also the Chairman's Award. They'll be going up to Lehigh at what these call the regional tournaments sometime in the near future. And then I believe the winners of those will win a trip down to, I think, New Orleans. So we're wishing them luck. And thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Enjoy the holidays.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Freeholder Director. I again want to just reiterate that tomorrow is the Burlington County Advisory Council on Women Outstanding Women of the Year Award. As Freeholder Belgar mentioned, the reception starts at 5:30 and ends at 6:30, and men and women attend this event. So spread the word. We hope to see you there. And then also I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that there is a Crime Victims' Rights Week breakfast on Wednesday, April the 24th at 8 a.m. at the Quality Inn in Mapleshade. I've attended this in past years. It is a well worthwhile breakfast to go to. And every year there is a very good speaker. Last year the speaker was it concentrated on victims of identity theft and what we can do to protect ourselves from identity theft. So each year there's a new topic and a new focus on how to make sure we reduce the number of crime victims. And if you are able to attend that, it's a very worthwhile breakfast to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks to the staff for staying. Who has to be here. I'd like to, I always love starting off by echoing comments, but I'm inclined certainly to agree with Freeholders Belgar and Howarth on the pretty good strides that were made over in West Hampton Township at the Rancocas Nature Center. It's not often that you see a true public-private, then public partnership actually take effect and thrive. We talked about this in conference this evening, so for everyone's edification, I'm going to expand upon it a little bit more. We had the opportunity there where there was a group that had been operating with the Nature Center for several years, if not decades, had decided that their mission would in fact change. Rancocas Nature Center was managed about 130 acres with 2.7 miles of trails. Well, the agency was going to leave. There are thousands of folks that utilized Rancocas Nature Center every year. Difficult budgets for everyone. A friends group gets together and forms overnight, or within 3 or 4 days. Probably about 10, 12 members have expanded into several dozen members, raising funds to try and preserve the place. West Hampton Township gets involved because they have an interest in it, because it's right in their community. And then we're asked to get involved because we have a pretty good actually a pretty remarkable relationship with the state and the state park system. So what's happening here is we hope to execute an agreement. We will have a special use permit, but we hope to execute an agreement with the state to manage the 130 acres. We'll take care of some building maintenance. That's the county's responsibility. West Hampton Township has agreed to bring on the 2 FTEs, full-time employees, that run programs there and hope to recoup their revenue through some of the good projects and work that they do there. And the Friends of Rancocas Nature Center have committed to raising a whole lot of money to get this all paid for. So it's like I said, it's not every day where you see a situation where everything comes together pretty well in a really quick time frame too, because the original deadline for this was March 31. Now it's shaking out that the agency that's leaving has said, well, you know what, since you folks are getting your sea legs together, we're going to go till April 30th on this and give you a little bit more time to get everything pulled together. And I fully suspect that we will have all the agreements triangulated, executed, and signed by April 30th. Not to put any pressure on Pete, and the administration, and Mary Pat, and everyone else. That's the story on that. At this time, I'm going to pass something to my freeholders. This is a thought that I've had, my fellow freeholders rather. I would like to create something called the Burlington County Courage Award. And as a result of that, I'd like to schedule a special meeting on April 17th, and we can take action on doing that on April 10th. The name is relatively self-explanatory. What a Courage Award is, someone that represents courage. But I actually had a recipient in mind for this first year, and I think we need to develop a process after that. The recipient that I have in mind is someone a lot of folks in this room have met and known over the years. It's a lady named Loretta O'Donnell. Loretta has battled colon cancer, she battles liver cancer, but the thing that's remarkable about Loretta is she in fact has become a one-man therapy team for folks. She's taken her struggles and written about them. She's taken her struggles and joined associations where she could talk to folks about. Loretta has a remarkable gift and a remarkable ability to relate to folks. Anybody who's worked with her knows that. But she also has a remarkable gift to write. So I would ask my colleagues on the Freeholder Board to indulge me of this for the first year, and then thereafter we develop a process around this. But I will in fact put a resolution on the agenda for April 10th to advertising meeting for April 17th for one action item at the Culinary Arts Center. With that, I am done.
I have a question. That means I now have 3 places to be on April 17th. Do you know what time
Oh,
that?
come on, you're a Freeholder now. Probably 6 o'clock. I'm assuming about 6. We'll
6
work-
will be fine.
We'll work to your
Because I have to
schedule.
be with the Powerful Municipal Court on at 7.
Oh, is that that evening?
Yeah.
Well, can we talk about that
6
after we
o'clock is
adjourn?
fine.
All right.
That's good.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Moved by Freeholder Howard, is there a second? Second by Freeholder Harder. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye. Opposed, abstentions? We are adjourned.